Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on the major snow event taking place through parts of the Midlands, Northern England, parts of the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland over the course of today, tonight into tomorrow morning as well. We have this area of low pressure bumping into the bitterly cold air that we have had over the last few days, and it's readily turning to snow pretty much north of southern England. Some areas on that dividing line through Northampton, Cambridge, Milton Keynes, down towards southern Wales. These are right on the dividing line. Anywhere north of that is seeing snow at the moment, and it will become a bit more marginal through this afternoon, but we'll have a look at that on the UKV in a minute. So we'll run through what is going on the latest on the live radar. We'll run through all the weather warnings, as we do have a new amber warning issued for parts of Wales, and then, as we said, we'll look at the UKV. Concentrate really on this snow event today, and we'll get back to looking at mid to longer range more through tomorrow and the weekend. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if we do start, as said on the live radar, you can see all the heavy snow taking place at the moment. Again, some of the typing are a bit off here. We're not seeing an isolated pocket of rain through Yorkshire. That is snow falling anywhere north of southern Wales and central southern England. East Anglia a bit more marginal once again. Unsure exactly what's falling here, but it will be rain through this afternoon. So it could be snow right as I'm recording this, but through the early middle afternoon it will turn to rain there. We have some big uncertainties where we're going to see that rain line develop. I have seen from the latest models it suggested it will be across the Midlands, perhaps around Wolverhampton, Stoke, Nottingham, Lincoln. All these areas here are very much on the cusp of seeing snow all day, but could see a bit of rain mixing in for a few hours in the afternoon, and then as we head towards around midnight we see the low start to pull away again, and then it could all turn back to snow. So you could see another dumping of snow there. The areas that see the amber warning up through Yorkshire, Sheffield, Leeds, up to all the way into the northeast and through North Wales now, those areas are pretty much guaranteed to see an all snow event. So it's not because they're seeing particularly high precipitation rates compared to elsewhere, it's just because it's pretty much guaranteed that it will be all snow, whereas other areas dropping down in elevation and dropping southwards, very uncertain exactly whether it will be rain, sleet or snow through this afternoon into the evening for about a 6 to 8 hour period. Again, the precipitation does look like it will wane then, but of course if those temperatures do rise we'll see snow melt, things like that. So we will just have to see. It's very much an outcast situation. We'll just have to keep an eye on this southern extent of this snow area. Of course, if this low pressure starts to stall, which it will do eventually, the models have it slightly further northward stalling, but if it does start to stall here, those areas I just pointed out just to the south of that amber warning zone could see an all snow event, but we will just have to see. So these areas of precipitation here are going to be shoving into that cold air, trying to nudge the low pressure northwards as we start to see milder air introduce itself. So of course this is associated with even heavier precipitation but milder air, so we will have to see. But at this stage we're seeing multiple centimetres of settling snow quite widely here. Even areas to low-lying areas we're seeing snow. Again, the ground temperatures are still above freezing, but with the high snow rates we can see those temperatures fall rapidly. But of course we see that snow wane for a while. The snow will start to melt. Again, it is March, so any daylight will really give some rapid thawing. So if you do want some real widespread snow, the best chances of that will be through this evening into tomorrow. Throughout today we could see a lot of snow, but it'll be uncertain, especially to low-lying areas outside of that amber warning. But as we'll see in a minute with Met Office warnings, they have stated anywhere in the yellow warning zone, which is quite widely the Midlands and Northern England, could see 10 to 15 centimetres above 100 metres. Even lower than that, could see 10 to 15 centimetres. It's just uncertain exactly where the rain snow line will be. Again, if we put on the temperatures, as of 10:30, the temperatures aren't really going to be much of a factor in this. It's more of the dew points and the upper air temperatures. The surface temperatures will remain cold all day, even these areas across the Midlands that could see it turn to rain and back to snow. Those areas there will probably stay around 1 degree all day. If it was a degree or two cooler, we could see freezing rain here, but it's slightly above freezing, making it quite wet, thick snow. But at the same time, it will mean later in the day, if we do see those warmer upper air temperatures and higher dew points move in, it could turn as I said. But widely, it's low single digits, if not towards freezing. All these lighter blue areas are sort of 0 degrees or 1 degree, so wherever we see snow falling at the moment, it's pretty bitterly cold. But you can see just to the south, we have milder air pushing in. Areas that saw some heavy snow yesterday, now seeing temperatures up towards 10 degrees. Again, you can see the spine of where these amber warnings are, just over the higher ground, where it's guaranteed to be snowing for the whole event. If we do put on the latest dew points, again indicating the freezing point of condensation of the air, you can see that dew points are starting to rise just to the south. I would say at this stage, still the Midlands, it's that Milton Keynes, Cambridge down to Gloucester line, where we are seeing it turn to rain. Further northwards, still widely snow, a bit of higher dew points filtering in from the east, perhaps a bit of an easterly flow bringing slightly milder air in off the North Sea, but anywhere towards central areas here, still dew points below freezing or at freezing. So good few hours more of snow as I'm recording this around 11 a.m. But of course, this area of dew points, higher dew points, will move northwards pretty rapidly, and by this afternoon, if we can actually have a look at the future radar for this, you can see those dew points are nudging northwards up towards the North Midlands, and that's where we could start to bring rain into these areas. Birmingham, Leicester, Nottingham, these areas will be very marginal through this afternoon. Now, the Weather Channel, which I'm looking at on the radar here, if you go to its hourly forecast, it is forecasting snow for these areas all afternoon. If you go to the Met Office, forecasting a bit of sleet or rain mixing in. Very, very uncertain with the positioning of this colder air. Again, it's one of these knife-edge marginal snow events. If it does stay as snow, it could be historic for some of these areas, one to remember, but if it does turn to rain, it will be one of those where it could have been, but nothing too spectacular. If you look at the past 24-hour snowfall, you'll be able to see that we've seen snow quite widely through England, Wales and the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland and most of Scotland over the past 24 hours. You can see the heaviest snow totals through the Midlands, parts of North Wales. Again, these areas are just going to be topped up over the coming hours. Of course, these areas saw the heavier precipitation earlier today first, and that heavier precipitation is pushing up further northwards and eastwards up into Yorkshire, northwest England, up towards the east and northeast now. So, as I said, I'll expect to see widely purples over the coming hours. Again, can't say how much that would have actually accumulated, but quite a bit will have over the higher ground. So, if we do now have a look at the weather warnings, you can see we've got our widespread yellow warning and our 2 amber warnings. Now, this amber warning has just been introduced earlier this morning. It's from midday today, so about an hour after I'm recording this until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Again, 10 to 20 centimetres with up to 30 centimetres possible over higher ground above 200 metres. So pretty modest hills, again, really marginal. Again, if you're around 50 to 100 metres, you could still see these high snowfall totals. It's just a lot more uncertain. The likelihood is down. That's why you are in the yellow warning zone. Again, there could be icy conditions as well as we do see that rain mix in. And then, of course, we've got the amber warning zone through the spine of Yorkshire, up towards northern England, stretching all the way from parts of the Midlands as well. Heavy snow is likely to cause disruption on Thursday afternoon and Friday morning. Again, this is issued from 3 p.m. this afternoon until midday tomorrow. That's when the heaviest snow does stall, and we can be pretty sure it will be falling as snow. Again, 10 to 20 centimetres quite widely, maybe 30 to 40 centimetres blizzards and drifting of lying snow. Again, the yellow warning for this, again, widely through parts of the Midlands, Wales, Northern England and Northern Ireland from 7 a.m. today until 2 p.m. tomorrow. Again, we're expecting 2 to 5 centimetres in some of these low-lying cities. However, significant snow accumulations over Northern England, perhaps 10 to 15 centimetres widely at 100 metres or above, so modest hills, and perhaps 25 to 40 centimetres in some places, and that's really where the amber warning has been issued. And again, as I said, it's because of the likelihood. This would all be an amber warning if we knew all of this was falling as snow, but because there is a risk of rain later today, the likelihood has dropped down. So I must emphasise that all these areas in the yellow warning have the potential to see 10, 15, 20 centimetres of snow if snow does persist for the whole event. But at this stage, it is so uncertain whether it does, and if it does transition back to rain for some hours this afternoon into this evening. We will just have to see. Of course, if it doesn't transition, big totals. If it does transition, you're likely to see slushy, a few centimetres of accumulation sort of on and off, sort of accumulating, then melting, and accumulating once again through tonight into tomorrow as it turns back to snow. So if we do finally just have a look at the yellow snow and ice warning through northeastern areas of Scotland, again 5 p.m. this evening until 10 a.m. tomorrow, again 2 to 5 centimetres in some places, and icy stretches on untreated roads. High likelihood, lower end of the impact again for wintry showers. I did highlight this yesterday as one of those events where we do have heavy snow through Midlands, Northern England, Northern Ireland, but not so much through Scotland. Of course, we saw convective showers when this air mass did move in, but the major snow has been in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Big change from what we have had previously for a lot of these late season snow periods. So yeah, very, very interesting seeing that at the moment. Now, if we do run through the UKV and see what that is producing over the course of the next couple of days. Now you can see the heavy snow moving in at the moment through this morning. We did see some snow earlier this morning, but nothing too heavy, just remnants of that weather front we saw yesterday that did produce a few centimetres in places, but nothing too significant because the snowfall rates weren't too high. But you can see the heavy precipitation moving in now, widely snow through the Midlands and Northern England through this morning into the early hours of the afternoon. The precipitation does start to wane, it does sort of slow down, but still those areas towards the amber warnings, still seeing heavy precipitation through the East Midlands as well, still seeing heavy precipitation there. It does reduce, and we see some reinforcements of heavy precipitation from the south, but that's where we start to see some milder air perhaps mixing in. Still snow in many areas, but mixing towards low-lying areas. Again, this is not following the exact orographics. Some of these areas are low-lying areas, again, depends on the precipitation type and the dew points as well. But widely still falling as snow through the amber warnings, could be still falling as snow elsewhere through this evening and overnight. As the precipitation does eventually pull away, it all turns back to snow on the back edge through the early hours of the morning, as we do see that area of precipitation move away, giving way to heavy wintry showers, and even areas in the south and the east could see some back edge snowfall from this. As we progress beyond that through into the weekend, still some snow showers in the north, and maybe some winters even more widely through Saturday once again, as we do see weather front bump into that cold air, but eventually milder air does prevail, so all areas going back mild apart from northern Scotland, where we could see some more heavy snow potentially. Maybe time for a snow event in Scotland before that eventually does peel away. Could be yellow and amber warnings for that, considering how heavy that does look through the weekend into the start of next week. Now, if you look on the upper air temperatures, you'll be able to see where that dividing line for the upper air temperatures is at the moment through the spine of central and southern England. Perhaps it's actually slightly further southwards than this, from what I'm seeing on the live radar at the moment, and what we saw from the Weather Channel in terms of those dew points. We're still seeing pretty cold air, still further southwards, still seeing snow in parts of Birmingham, which is shown here around midday of being around 1 or 2 degrees at 850 HPA. So perhaps slightly further southwards, or at least at this time, the cold air is slightly further southwards, and eventually does lift up towards northern England, hovers around that line through the northwest England, through towards sort of Yorkshire area, and then out towards the North Sea. That's where we've got that cold line. Again, it could be 50 miles further southwards. I doubt it's much further northwards from what I'm seeing on the live radar, but could be slightly further southwards, for eventually all that cold air wraps in again and it goes bitterly cold back through Friday. Again, if we put on those dew points, you can see early this morning, widely around freezing, those dew points through many parts of the Midlands and northern England. And then as we head through the afternoon, you can see those dew points really start to nudge up, maybe 1 or 2 degrees in a few spots, but still freezing in many spots, especially through the Midlands there. Could see dew points hovering around freezing tonight, so that could keep the precipitation as snow, but still very uncertain before very cold dew points spread back in the morning and everything falls back as snow. So as I said, we'll have to see exactly how this does develop, but it's very, very marginal at this stage. In some areas could see a huge amount of snowfall, guaranteed pretty much in the amber warning zones, but elsewhere towards low-lying areas, it could be major, or it could just be sort of one of these minor snow events where it's a bit on and off. We will just have to see. if we do put on the snow depths, you can see that big snowfall is falling at the moment, widely 10 to 20 centimetres, wherever that snow does persist through this afternoon. But of course, wherever the snow does stop, it will start to melt a bit, and you can see where the amber warnings are through North Wales and that spine through northern England. 10 to 20 centimetres widely, as high as 30 or 40 centimetres, and again starts to melt through Friday into the weekend, and we could see more snow in Scotland through the early part of next week as we see that more snow move in. Again, we'll look at that in more detail towards the weekend, as it is still quite uncertain at this stage. If you finally just look at the 2 metre max temperatures, see what that is showing, you can see through this afternoon, even those areas where we could see rain this afternoon, it will still be around freezing or so. It's just those upper air temperatures that are prohibiting the precipitation. Normally, it's the surface temperatures. This time, it is those upper air temperatures. Again, if we do keep that cold upper air temperatures, we could see widespread snow. We will just, as I said, have to see. And through this evening, those temperatures still hover around freezing, and overnight into the early hours, very cold, and once again into tomorrow afternoon could rise to maybe 3 to 5 degrees, where we do see a bit of sunshine developing, as tomorrow looks a widely precipitation free day. Should melt a lot of that snow with the strong sunshine, but could be quite a cold, pleasant day after quite a wintry week so far. And then as we head into the weekend, it will stay pretty cold. Overnight to Saturday could be a really harsh frost. Any winteriness still on the ground will freeze, so it could be a very icy morning if you're out on Saturday. And then into Saturday afternoon again, 3 to 7 degrees before it does start to turn slightly milder, especially in England and Wales and the Republic of Ireland as we head into the early part of next week. But we could see another wraparound area of cold air once again. Could be some marginal snow in places outside of Scotland, but main risk would be in Scotland here. So it is looking very snowy for the rest of today into tomorrow morning. Make sure you stay safe out there if you are in those yellow and especially amber warning regions. I don't expect any more changes to the weather warnings. Perhaps they could put a nowcast situation warning in, maybe an amber warning for some of those areas where it is marginal at the moment, but it does stay as snow. We will have to see, but at this stage, I'm expecting some very heavy precipitation through the rest of the day. Most of it will fall as snow, but some areas could see some rain mixing in, and that, as I said, will prohibit totals. Again, if we saw this, I keep saying this, if this did fall in January, where things are less marginal, we would be seeing huge snowfall totals with this. Could be seeing widely snow, and we would see probably widespread amber warnings issued. But it is falling in middle to early March, so again, it is marginal in many low-lying areas. That's the best we can really do at this time of year. But as I said, we'll have to see how it does develop. I hope if you are looking for snow, it does deliver where you are. If you're not looking for snow, well, hopefully we do see some of that rain mixing in later today to prohibit any of those accumulations. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you stay safe out there through the rest of today and tomorrow. And of course, especially Saturday morning as well, where it does get very cold, could see some big ice risk as well. And I'll see you again for another video soon.